This woman asked this question in the Ask Feminist subreddit. She said, do you think some men are disaffected because they have cultural whiplash over women having jobs? Now, I would like to say, as a Black woman living in America, many of us have always worked in America. So I just would like to put that out. Most women of color have worked in this country, and even housewives who have not worked outside of the home still work in this country. It's just that our labor is now getting money for it. We're now getting finances, and we can actually control our own finances. I would just like to put that out there. But let's get into her post. She said, so I recently opened an account on Threads. And for some reason, what I was seeing, I don't know why their algorithm was feeding me this, was a lot of men asking the ether, why am I still single? I don't have any debt. I own my own home and car. I have a good job, etc. This got me thinking because these guys seem to be clueless to the idea that women can also have jobs now, all on our own. Like, yeah, a single woman, would definitely want to date someone who had their financial life together. But this is like baseline. Women are going to want more than that in order to choose one guy out of everyone and say, you, sir, I want to see you with your clothes off, or I want to spend my life with you and have your baby, etc. We care about things like emotional intelligence. Are you supportive and kind? Are you 100% committed to doing 50% of the housework and emotional labor? If we have kids, is it automatically assumed that I take the career hit? Or are you going to step up and volunteer to scale back on your dreams? Do we share interests? Do we make each other laugh? Is there chemistry? Are we wildly attracted to each other? Do you care about my orgasm? Etc. And obviously, these things will be different for everyone. My sense of things is that there are some guys who have not caught up to the idea that women could have their own jobs and finances now. Like they really seem to be struggling with the idea that women are full adults with their own financial independence, and they think that having their own job and house is all they need to attract a partner. And in a way, it makes sense. Like before the 70s, we couldn't have credit cards or bank accounts in our own name without a male cosigner, and a lot of jobs were not accessible to us. We were literally shut out of financial adulthood and resources if we weren't married. So, in that time, yeah, many women probably had standards that revolved around those baseline things. The fact that men can no longer expect to attract a mate by resource hoarding is really a new thing, culturally speaking. I will say this though, there have been a couple of generations that are adults right now that have had women that were financially independent and had some rights. So the current adult males that are prime age should be used to women working and having their own money. That's the reason why I'm so weirded out or so confused why they act like having a job and a car is like, whoo, let me go ahead and choose him. Dude, we all have jobs. We have cars. Like, what are you talking about, dude? I think a lot of these guys are the ones who wind up voting for Trump because he's trying to roll back women's rights and independence and promising to bring back a world where these men can make enough to provide for a wife and kids. I have heard Trump supporters in my own life describe it like this. And of course, that wife under control. I'm sorry, and of course, keep that wife under control because she has fewer options and no fault divorce is gone. It seems pretty clear in how Trump supporters talk about women in relationships as if they can't fathom women having jobs outside the home. For instance, when reacting to that Julia Roberts ad about a woman voting secretly for Harris, Charlie Kirk said, I think it's so nauseating where this wife is wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband, who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provide to the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. Absolutely no consideration that women can also have jobs. There are loads of examples, like Harrison Butker comes to mind, waves hand to indicate the entirety of the trad wife phenomenon. I would like to say this whole Harrison Butker thing, I do believe that he is looking to become a politician after his football career is over. He came in like a storm and went viral, and I truly think that he wants to be some of that Christo fascist politician in the same vein as Josh Hawley. I'm just throwing that out there. I've seen essays about how Democrats should try appealing to these disaffected men who aren't making enough to support a family, but I'm not sure how they do that without sounding sexist. If the message is, hey guys, if you want to make enough to provide for a wife and family, vote for me, it sounds a bit sexist because women also want to make want to make family supporting money. It's not just exclusive to guys. We don't want to go back to a time when only men could have jobs. And Democrats already talk about improving the economy in gender neutral terms, but that doesn't seem to be reaching these guys because what they care about is not just improving the economy for everyone, but restoring male primacy. What do you think? She said, edited to add, because I think this is important. Obviously, this take of women never had jobs and men were the only ones who worked is oversimplified because women have worked outside the home throughout history. It's mainly about an idealized, based on nostalgia, about white and middle class stereotypes, daydream these guys have about what it used to be like rather than reality. Although the part about women having a lot less financial recourse overall and less freedom and ability to leave a bad relationship prior to the Civil Rights Act in the United States is probably more accurate. I'm glad that she came in and threw that in because, yes, this nostalgia is not really a Black woman's or any other non white woman's dream, or is not our reality in the United States. Most of us worked here. Throwaway Mew Mew says, I think a lot of men have not been socialized to be great partners. They grew up being socialized to understand that if they have a decent job, can take care of themselves, aren't mean, then they should be entitled to the woman of their dreams. I feel like many men were not taught about emotional intelligence and not ready to accept or make major changes to enable them to grow into good partners. It is easier to ask women to change and adapt to their dream and conception of how life should be rather than do the work required to be a more desirable partner. I do believe this as well, but women have been asking for these things for a while now, asking men to participate in the home, to do some of the emotional support, to actually love and actually act like you care about your partner. And the men are refusing to do it. They have not come into the updated 2024 version of reality. They're still living in Delulu land. Zenith Time says men won't even be friends with women, yet think they could be good partners. How? You go your whole life ostracizing women, then just magically expect them to be BFFL with one. I don't know what BFFL with one means. If you know nothing about how to interact with women, that's not a very realistic perspective. Women are expected to learn men, and men are explicitly told not to learn women. Don't budge an inch. Okay, I had to go look up BFFL, Best Friends for Life. Okay, my bad. I didn't recognize that. Way too many acronyms being thrown at me. It's No Big Thing says, yes, they won't read books written by women. They won't listen to podcasts hosted by women. They won't watch women's sports, unless to perv, or movies about women. They don't have platonic female friends or show any interest in us as equal, normal human beings. They don't like women, but they want one of us to sign up to be a bang maid for them. I'm glad that she said this. Men don't really know women. They, even when they show up to our comment section, is to tell us what we want, is to give us their opinion of what we want. It's so weird. It's like, dude, you're in a group of women, just listen to our perspective. But they don't get our perspective. They get the perspective of other men who think they know what women want. And it's so weird. If they would just listen to women, we would tell them. And then Dry Lemon says, I think this is a super important point. A lot of these men don't like women. They just want to have X with and clean up after him. They don't see women as equals, friends, partners, or even people. They don't. They see us as something to pluck up, acquire, and discard when they are done with us. And we have started opting out of being that wife appliance incubator. And for that reason, they are failing and flailing. Y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So we have had conversations where men have just flipped the switched and changed. But this one, this post, this man, he's coming out the gate controlling. And if you see any of these signs, you need to run quickly because if he's coming out the gate this strong, it's only going to get worse. He came to a first date waving a red flag and having a warning signal go off. I don't know if that's true about the first date, but still, let's get into this post. She says, I, 30-year-old woman, and my very new boyfriend, who's 31, keeps telling me what to do. How can I raise this with him? You're a 30-year-old woman. You do not need a man telling you what to do. You are not a puppy getting trained on where to use the bathroom. Please stop this. Even if you were 20 something, ladies, if you're in my network, you're 20 something, you do not need a man to tell you what to do. You're a fully capable human that has a brain of her own. Please stop thinking that you need a man to lead you. Okay, let me do the post. We were friends for a year or so before this, which does make a difference, as we already know each other well. But less than 2 weeks into dating, he keeps telling me what to do. There's no foundation here. Just leave this person alone. It's 2 weeks. Please stop this. This is madness. She says, I was in an 11-year dead bedroom relationship before this. So I've been living for someone else my entire adult life. And since ending things 4 months ago, I'm finally free to live how I like. Part of living how I like was being with who I wanted and getting to have fun again. He's moving quite fast, and I've had to tell him to slow it down. He's told friends and family about me already and is making future plans, whereas I've only just moved out of my ex's house where we still share a mortgage. So this woman in herself needs to slow it down. She just ended an 11-year relationship 4 months ago. There's no way that she is ready to really get into a relationship that will be a healthy relationship. This is wild that she is doing this. Here are some of the things he's already telling me what to do or not to do. Number one, I want to buy my own little flat to call my own. He keeps telling me it's a bad idea and a tie and will take ages. He doesn't approve and tries to put me off. He doesn't approve. This is a 30-year-old woman, and I am appalled at the gall. Number two, when I get my own place, I want a dog. I had them all my life and I miss it terribly. I pet sit to fill the void. He goes very serious and says, this is a bad idea, as I won't be able to travel with him at the drop of a hat. Not something I ever said I wanted anyway. He's been trying to convince me not to get a dog since. Number three, gets impatient and slightly annoyed when I fall asleep on his couch, when I fell asleep on his couch and didn't go to bed when he told me I should. Said I'm stubborn and being annoying. No. See, number three is already, I'm already fed up with this dude. Number four, doesn't like that I play games with my friends on Saturday nights, 2 to 3 times a month, and says I should spend Saturdays with him instead. He's trying to isolate and break up her friendships already, and he's 2 weeks into dating her. Number five, said I shouldn't start horse riding again as I don't have the time. I've had horses all my life and still have two retired ones. I don't want to lose the skill. So he's also trying to make her get rid of her hobbies. And I've already said this before in conversations and previous posts. Don't lose your friendships, your family connections, and your hobbies. That's losing a bit of yourself. These men simply want to take you and enmesh completely with you to where you don't have an identity outside of them. She says, I'm painfully attracted to him and have fantasized about being with him for so long. We are so compatible in every other way, other than I hate being told what to do and he keeps doing it. It's so early in the relationship that I don't even know how to broach this subject with him. What would be a good way to go about it? I feel like I've been a doll. All my life, people expect me to do as I'm told and sit pretty on the shelf. So If you cannot have a conversation this early about what you expect out of a relationship, you are not ready to be in a relationship. And this is not even love bombing. This is like control bombing because there's no love in this. He's just setting the scene for stripping you of your humanity and all of your likes and everything that's enjoyable that makes you you. This woman right here is not ready for a relationship because she doesn't even have a voice yet. She says she was in an 11-year relationship. She was in an 11-year relationship and she's just 30. So she hasn't had a chance to discover herself outside of being in a relationship. She doesn't know who she is outside of a relationship. And she's jumping into a relationship with somebody who is trying to dictate who she should be. I absolutely hate this for her. And I really do hope that she walks away. But this is for y'all because some of these women are not ready for this conversation, but the people who have been around my network for a while have heard this. Know who you are and what you value. Create some boundaries and don't lose yourself completely to be in a relationship with a man. Because if that relationship ends, you will crumble. But if a relationship ends and you still retained who you are, you can bounce back easier. M. Leak says, you're replacing one toxic man for another. The likelihood of saving a friendship with this man is slim, but it gets slimmer every week this continues. He's trying to rush over all the important parts and force you into fulfilling the role he's assigned you in his mind, possibly for years. He will get increasingly upset as you don't follow the script. Please, please, please don't try to explain. If he doesn't know at 31, you're not going to be able to train him up while you also manage your own healing and separation. Just tell him it's not working. This may be an attraction, but it's not compatibility. This is an unhealthy cope. Sneaky S says it's enormously concerning that he's already trying to control you. You both have known each other for some time. Presumably, he knew you liked to ride, wanted to own a dog, etc., etc. None of these are instances in which he should have any input. He seems to want you to conform to his desires without any concern about what you want. Magic Sand says, this is such a good point. He's supposedly been a friend for 2 years until a few months ago. Not only is he being a very controlling boyfriend, but by not wanting you to follow your passion, spend time with friends, live the way you want to live, he's being a bad friend too. And like the person on the bottom says, this is new and he's acting like this. It doesn't get better. Dump him and save yourself the heartache. He's controlling and coercive, showing signs of DV, showing possible signs of DV. I mean, there's no more red flags that she needs to see at the very beginning of a relationship to know that she needs to run quick and fast away from this person. Okay, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. If you see yourself in any of these numbers, any of these in her list, it would have been enough to run, especially within the first 2 weeks of dating someone. So please just use these as a cautionary tale on things not to do. Don't sit up and second guess yourself like this lady. Whew, like, comment, and share. Ladies, do not take in any pests that need to nest and rest. Do not. They are looking to come and attach to a host and suck your time, energy, and resources. This woman went to the Ask Women Over 30 subreddit to say, my boyfriend made a one-off comment and I can't stop thinking about it. But as she talked in this post, there were so many more problematic things about this relationship. She says, we're currently doing distance and just got done having a lovely fall getaway in a little mountain town. We had an amazing time, and all in all, I'd say it was one of the better weekends we've had as of late. However, on our last night in town, we were bar hopping and just chatting when I said, I've never been to a pumpkin patch before. He seemed to have an aha moment and responded along the lines of, oh, that makes sense. I was wondering why you hadn't taken me to a pumpkin patch yet, and just chuckled a bit. But it didn't come off very lighthearted like the conversation had been prior. This man is looking for the princess treatment. That is what I got from that first paragraph. She says, now, normally something like this wouldn't get a second thought from me, but in the 2.5 years we've been together, a constant point of contention was the lack of effort or planning I put into the relationships and dating. Mind you, this entire weekend trip was planned and paid for by me, as was the last weekend visit we did before this one as well. His argument that I don't plan things has never sat well with me since it's a blanket statement that just isn't true. I plan many a date, reservations for job opportunities, at home quality time, etc. But conveniently, during a lot of those plans, they don't pan out because he starts an argument with me over something, what I'm wearing, why I didn't tell him to dress up more, oogling or ogling other men while on said dates. Or if I make plans with other friends or family, he gets passive aggressive and scolds me for never putting the same amount of effort into him as I do them. Another man that's looking to control and isolate from friends and family. This is a red flag and something that women really just need to see highlighted a few times so that we can be socialized or unsocialized or unlearn that this is not the right thing to do. When a man is trying to isolate you and keep you away from friends and makes the situation uncomfortable, that is another major, major red flag. Part of why I can't get over this comment is because the last visit we had where I went to his hometown, he commented on the pumpkin patch his city puts on every year. He mentioned how he's gone a handful of times and it was his go to date for him back when he was single. Am I wrong for feeling weird about all of this? He's always portrayed himself as a traditional or provider type of man, but the majority of the relationship, I've been the breadwinner. I've helped him an ungodly amount financially, and I've sacrificed a lot of time and relationships with family and friends, and even prioritized him, the relationship, over my own work and graduate school responsibilities. In hindsight, I 100% feel like he love bombed me hard, and who he is now is nothing like how he portrayed himself to be or continues to think or see himself as. Typing this all out, I feel pretty icky, but I'm just wondering if I'm overthinking things at this point. Now that I get to this last part, and I will say this, when I get sent these posts, a lot of the times I don't fully read them out. I skim over it. So getting to this, it really does sound like this man did love bomb her. He portrayed himself as something, a traditional provider type, but nothing in his actions backed that up. She's been paying for the date. She's been doing all of these things. And what has he done in return as the relationship progressed? He's attempted to isolate her from friends and family. She has done this on her own, put her own financial health and opportunities and education to the side for him. For whatever reason she did, it was like the fantasy of what was to come. He didn't even do anything that impressive as far as what she typed. And what made her start replaying this was the pumpkin patch thought. But everything else is starting to come into play. I'm the one spending my money. I'm the one sacrificing. I'm the one isolating myself from my friends and family. Hopefully, this woman really sits down and thinks about this. But I'm doing this one because I want us to see how things start. These men will really try to portray themselves as something, but you have got to see some actions behind it that actually match who they say they are. Okay, some of the comments. Oatmeal Gum says, I don't think you're overthinking at all. When you say you've helped him financially, girl, are you saying you've helped with his bills or given him money? Alongside this trip that you planned and paid for, and last weekend, another trip? He sounds ungrateful. He sounds like he views you as the person who's supposed to be in charge of entertaining him. Yes, you're in charge of making sure he has a good enough time and is comfortable enough. And if he's not having a good time, then it's because of you. I don't know. He sounds immature. He sounds like he's trying to train you to cater to him. But luckily, if it's a point of contention, then the training isn't going as well as he'd like. Still, I'd stop investing. This is gross behavior. All right, the OP says, I've helped him by letting him move in with me, covering expenses for months he couldn't, giving him money to help him sell his house, which he was upside down on, and funded an entire out-of-state move for a job opportunity that ended up not working out at all to just move back home again when I was working 2 jobs, doing school, and told him I felt like I needed space and time to reset. I've quite literally given this man the last of what I have just for him to turn around and be so terribly mean to me. Safe to say, the fog has lifted after all the comments and conversations I've had with all of you ladies. That's good because this comment is very, very troubling. Goodness gracious. These men have it good when they find a host to attach to because WTF. And that's what Jealousosaurus Rex says. Why are you doing so much for him? WTF. And the OP says, at the time, he always framed it as this is what good partners do, or if you really love me and supported me because no one else does, then I shouldn't even have to ask for help type of It's honestly insane typing out and thinking back on. The fact that he has such strained relationships with all his family and few friends should have been my first warning. He always was the victim in story without fail. Because he was married before, dated single mothers, and just had more extensive relationship history than me. I've only had one other serious one. He always seemed okay. This is a little murky, but maybe he's acting like she's the immature one. I always had something to learn from him and all his experience. If you just listen to me, or why can't you just follow me or listen to what I say? Jealousosaurus Rex says, hell nah, back to the street he goes. Bum loser. Can't believe he made you do all that stuff. Just cut your losses and run. Absolutely. I'm going to end it with this comment from Test 47. She says, I will tell you something that someone else told me. This is working out well for him. It changed my life. And then the OP says, oh, now that was a gut punch if I've ever had one. And then Tess says, yeah, me too. These men really have it good when they find a host to attach to. These women are doing way, 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 way too much. This is a mess. And they're doing it for these manipulative men. I'm doing these stories because it is important to see, to highlight these things, because other women might have done a little bit of these things or experienced some of these things, but not necessarily understood that those are manipulation tactics or is coercive or whatever. So jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.